I'm going to go back to follow up a little bit with my colleague from Monroe and Pike County on real estate. I'd like some updates. This may be 5 or 6 properties I'd like an update on. The Pennsylvania State Hospital sale, where are we with that sale?
Do you mean the Harrisburg State Hospital?
Harrisburg State Hospital, yes.
We're going one at a time?
I'm going to let you jump into that one, Beth.
Thank you for the question. So as many are aware, we entered into an agreement of sale with the Redevelopment Authority of Dauphin County in June of 2020. Later on this past summer, we put out to bid a project to separate the utilities at the former Harrisburg State Hospital grounds, as well as to make some roadway improvements in advance of that. Of course, the Commonwealth is maintaining certain parcels of property out there as well, so we want our roads and our utilities to be properly separated. Unfortunately, none of those bids came in an awardable amount. We did an effort of attempting to value engineer our project back into something that was awardable. We did not get there, so we canceled those bids in early January. We have since been meeting monthly with the RDA to talk about what an awardable contract might look like in terms of utility separation and roadways. Those conversations have been going very well. In fact, we anticipate getting another invitation to bid on the street. This time we intend to do some base bids, which should give us greater flexibility. Then we'll move to separate those utilities, finish those roadways up, and continue to work with the RDA on a plan to transition and develop that property.
Great, thank you. State Corrections to retreat. It's been turned over to DGS. Do you have a plan for the facility now that it's been turned over, or when do you anticipate it will be turned over?
Thank you, Representative. I do not believe that it has been formally turned over yet. But when it is, and even in advance of it being formally turned over, we have been working closely with the Governor's Office and with the Department of Corrections to get in there as quickly as we can and to do what's necessary in order to prep the property for sale or redevelopment. Without getting too deeply into the details, there's a capital project currently underway to repair the bridge and to get the bridge stable, and then a larger capital project to more permanently repair the bridge. You know, these properties are very, very difficult to repurpose. As I'm sure you can imagine, they're built for one purpose, and that's to be a prison facility. So they can be a real challenge. But we are going to work as quickly as possible with DOC to get the property off the books as quickly as we can.
How about Graterford and Pittsburgh?
It's not been surplus. Graterford has not been surplus.
So, Graterford's empty now. Any plans for that? So, and Pittsburgh is, I guess, a sale, right?
Sure. So we have, as you may know, we have successfully moved all of the population out of Graterford and into the new SEI Phoenix facility, which is located on the same grounds as the Graterford facility. The value of the Graterford facility in, as a surplus property is somewhat questionable given its proximity to the Phoenix facility. The Phoenix facility requires a certain buffer around it in order for it to function as a maximum security facility. We have not yet started the process of surplusing the property or trying to get it sold. The Department of Corrections has not yet provided it to us as surplus.
Do you either of you have a figure on how many state-owned properties are currently unused or considered surplus? Or can you provide that to the committee?
We can provide you with the list that we currently have of agency properties that have been declared surplus. One of the challenges that we have at DGS is that we do not have great visibility into the occupancy of buildings all across the Commonwealth prior to them being declared surplus.
Even your own buildings?
Our own buildings, we have a great handle on occupancy. It's once we get outside of Harrisburg, when we get into facilities, state hospital facilities, for example.
Just a comment on. I guess there's a question too. Are there legislative changes that we can do to speed up the process? And we can talk about that later. You mentioned real estate modernization. I just wanted to make a comment that when you take properties out of the private sector for the purpose of the state leasing them or buying the property at the end of the lease, one of the unintended consequences, which my colleague from Dauphin County mentioned, the contribution we give to the city of Harrisburg, is that you take them off the tax rolls, and therefore we have a situation in the city of Harrisburg where half of our real estate is not taxable, which then our schools and our local municipalities suffer. So just to keep that in mind. But thank you. My time's up, and I appreciate your comments.